Hello, people of Magna Europa and beyond. You are currently watching the server's only broadcasted news service, RAM News. Tonight's main story regards not the action of a single state, yet more of the examination of a rising political ideology. However, at the end of this story shall be an exceptional speech from our king, and so I ask you to please be so courteous as to watch the entire broadcast. Today, at 11:51 a.m., the Soviet People's Republic of Flanders had been established. This is a state in northwestern Europe consisting of the Dutch-speaking portions of the Belgian wilderness. The nation seems to be a one-party state under the rule of the Grand Premier, Lozy Lucy. While this nation's very existence is a great sign of resilience for the people of northwestern Europe, especially after facing such a tragedy as the French occupation and German collapse, it also brings up an important issue I believe worthy of discussion. This is not the first Marxist state in Europe, and I fear it may not be the last. A few days ago, another such state had been established in Moldavia and Wallachia. However, all evidence of this nation existing seems to have been completely wiped from the Discord server. Another such nation who follows this dangerous ideology is Yugoslavia, which is essentially the staff nation of the server. Them, Istria, and Flanders make up a new alliance. They call themselves the Pan-European League of Socialists. Marxism is an ideology based on the degeneration of the state and people. It is under the firm belief that there should be no privately owned property and that all territory should be owned directly by the state itself. As I'm sure you can imagine, such a concept is inherently dangerous to a free and fair life, as seen in nations such as Estonia and Poland-Lithuania. Especially here in Gotland, opposing such notions is incredibly strengthening in the nation's ability to serve itself. To eliminate private property is to eliminate personal freedom. This is something that on this server must be avoided at all costs. Our people must be free. At any chance you can, please send foreign aid to these countries whenever they are in desperate struggle. Due to their lack of personal property, they are heavily subject to famine and political instability. To our brothers and sisters in Flanders and Yugoslavia, please fight for freedom. Fight for the abolition of the Red Menace. In other news, the Slavic Union has formed a coalition of Slavic states in the southern half of Europe. It currently consists of the Wizards Order of Slovakia and Yugoslavia. The membership of Ukraine is currently pending, and it can be expected that Istria will be allowed into this alliance as well. It seems to be something similar to the Northern Lights Alliance, consisting of Gotland, Estonia, and Poland-Lithuania. Britain's membership is in progress as well, Germany's membership is in progress as well, and Flanders has requested to join. We of RAM News would like to congratulate the diplomatic skills of Slovakian and Yugoslavian leaders for bringing this continent one step closer to peace. We in the North wish for nothing but good relations and brotherly teamwork between us. Finally, as a part of our brief recap segment of the news, the nations of Germany, Sardinia, and Trondelag have been formed. Shiv is, just like on Xylem and Europa, building their big cube. God bless their soul. Staff is still trying to give everyone their gear back, although distribution efforts have been going very poorly, as administrators can't actually give people things, and items spawned in creative simply don't work. Zenith, please, you gotta fix this, come on. Estonia is currently deep into debt with Ukraine, however the leaders claim it is a personal debt and not a national debt, and the amount of time that I will be able to work on the news will likely be reduced due to personal matters. This may mean that the news will no longer be daily recorded, however, stay subscribed as I will post any updates that I can give you. To finish our broadcast off for the night, please listen to this speech from our great king, Sal I. I would like to bid you farewell and hope you enjoy his articulate announcement. God bless you all.
Good afternoon. I'm speaking to you now from my home in Bergsvik. This is King Sal I of Gotland. Yesterday, the cities of Bergsvik and Visby in the Kingdom of Gotland found themselves besieged by the French army. I watched the map as this vile force warped to the Baltic Sea and sailed around our island to Bergsvik. sensing a lack of apparent and obvious fortification. However, thanks to successful coordination with our faithful allies, Estonia and the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, we were able to draw up a hastily formed plan to defend Bergsvik from this French invader. Our armies tried hard, but the enemy was much more well-equipped, and so we were beaten back. This enemy was equipped in full netherite, and our soldiers had only diamond gear. Many of us did have netherite, but we couldn't bring our full force to bear at that time. So unfortunately we had no choice but to fall back to Visby, which had been so thoroughly fortified by Ramen Boy 21. We were able to mount a defense of the city until the buttery claws of the French had loosened their grip on our island and went home. A few hours after this, it was brought to my attention that the staff had intervened on our behalf and banned the French for their numerous rule breaks. I must pay my tribute to a few notable people who took part in this battle. Ramen Boy 21 for valiantly leading the Northern Lights armies during this engagement. Adubs for coming out of retirement to assist in the defense of his homeland. Awesome Builder 23 for securing Bergsvik's bountiful storage from the enemy. Proaiden Gamer, the president of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, for pledging the support of his armies as well as material to help regroup and counterattack. Buffer Pinkton, the president of Estonia, for pledging the support of his armies as well as taking part in the battle himself. The British government for supplying our armies with weapons and armor when all hope seemed lost. And to Bleed Knife, Divine, Gearshift, Maklowitz, and Sketchy Man, as well as many others for their assistance during this battle. This was a great trial of strength for the Northern Lights military forces. Can any of us conceive of a greater objective for the French than to make resistance against their tyranny and raids impossible, and to steal our hard-earned materials and gear away from us? Could there have been an objective of greater military importance and significance for the whole purpose of their existence than this? They tried hard, and they were beaten back. They were frustrated in their task. We must be careful, however, not to assign to this engagement the attributes of a victory. Many sets of diamond armor and weaponry, and indeed, God's sets of netherite armor and weapons, have been lost. The risk of a bombing of Bergsvik or Visby storage facilities was quite real, and it was only due to the valiance of our troops and technicians on the home front we were able to prevent this disastrous possibility. We have learned much from this battle, but there is still much work to be done. All men, however terrible this prospect may be, must be prepared for the possibility of the return of the French. We cannot afford to flag or fail in our duty. I have myself full confidence that if all do their duty, if nothing is neglected, and if the best arrangements are made as they are being made, we shall prove ourselves once more able to defend our island home, to ride out the storm of war, and to outlive the menace of tyranny if necessary for years, and if necessary, alone. At any rate, that is what we are going to try to do. That is the resolve of myself and my government, every man of them. That is the will of the army and the nation, Gotland, Estonia, and Poland, Lithuania, linked together in their cause and in their need, will defend to the death their native soil, aiding each other like good comrades to the utmost of their strength. We shall go on to the end. We shall fight in Estonia, we shall fight on the seas and oceans, and we shall defend our island, whatever the cost may be. We shall fight on the beaches, we shall fight on the landing grounds, we shall fight in the fields and in the streets, we shall fight in the hills, we shall never surrender! And if, which I do not for a moment believe, this island or a large part of it was subjugated and starving, then our allies beyond the seas, armed and guarded by our forces and material, would carry on the struggle until in God's good time, our allies in all their power and might step forth to our rescue and liberation. Yesterday, we defended our island, but much work remains to be done. Together, we shall overcome. Thank you.